My name is Sam Giles, and together with Kayla Brown, our fellow Junior School Vice Captain Margaret Dang and Junior Indigenous Captain Eloise Ward will be hosting today's presentation. I'd like to invite Eloise Ward to perform the Acknowledgement of Country.
Good morning, students, teachers and members of our community. My name is Eloise Ward and I am a proud Aboriginal woman. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land upon which we meet today, the Jarowair and Gayabal people. I would also like to take a moment to pay my respects to the elders from the past, the present and the emerging, and for they hold the memories, the traditions and the knowledge of Indigenous culture.
Thank you, Eloise. I would also like to acknowledge our special guests for today. Evie Morris-Newell, our guest speaker, our Deputy Principals, Miss Kathleen Hannett, Mr Michael Floyd, Miss Carrie-Anne Frew, and Mrs Amy McAleer. Our Heads of Year 7, Mrs Mel Rhodey Bidgood and Mrs Casey Paticura. Our Heads of Year 8, Miss Catherine Gorton, Mrs Tori Barton and Mrs Heidi Law. And finally, our Assistant Heads of Year, Mrs Kelly Sloss and Miss Angela Garner, and staff of Centenary Heights. I would like to offer a special welcome to you, the Gold Level students of 2023. This is your special day. In being here today, you have demonstrated your capacity as a learner and to respect the rights of others, reflect a positive attitude and demonstrate cooperative behaviour. Your consistent efforts and willingness to provide help to others has not gone unnoticed, and it is wonderful that we can recognise your efforts in a public forum such as today. Our guest speaker today is Evie Morris-Newell. Evie is a former Centenary Heights student and attended Centenary Heights from 2016 to 2021. Evie was one of the school captains of 2021. Evie is currently studying advertising at the Queensland University of Technology in Brisbane, and once she finishes, she hopes to work in an advertising agency.
Alrighty, hello everyone. Ooh, you can hear me? Okay, great. So just to start, I'd like to congratulate you all, for being here today. It's a really great honour to, get to gold level. I'm sure you've worked hard all across the year to achieve those great results coming to school with your attendance record and being on your best behaviour. And that's why you're being rewarded today, so that's really great. So I'd like to introduce myself, as you guys kind of have done. My name's Evie, and I was here again from 2016 to 2021, and I was, in grade 7 and grade 8. Grade 7 in 2016, so sitting where you guys are. It's a very different time back then. Has anyone heard of One Direction? Oh yeah, they'd just broken up. So it was a pretty tumultuous time, and also the Whip Nay Nay was still a dance. Does anyone even know that? Yes? Okay, wow, okay, you don't make me feel old. That's really good. And I was school captain in 2021, which is why they've invited me back. So thank you very much for that. And when I was here, I really loved mainly just spending time with my friends and just hanging out, something I really miss, and it's something you guys probably take for granted. I know I certainly did. But seeing your friends every day and just hanging out is probably one of the best things about school. But I also loved my teachers, some of which are still in this room. I really loved drama and film, and Mrs. O'Mara taught me film. She's not here today, but she was great. And some of my teachers are here, Mrs. Barton taught me legal. Who else? Miss Lynham is somewhere. Senior maths, and Miss Gorton, junior maths. A few other people, but they were great. Oh, and Miss Noon. Where's Miss Noon? My lovely PCG teacher. 8G, you are very lucky to have her. Is it 8G? Yes. She was great. Shout out to Miss Noon. Anyway, so I've been brought back to talk with you guys today. And look, when moving into grades 7 and 8, I really struggled with the transition from primary school to high school, as I'm sure many of you guys have, maybe especially the year 7s. Year 8s, you've probably gotten used to it by now. But there is a big difference coming from, a primary school to a high school. There's a lot more expectation on you. You might have felt a little bit stressed this year trying to, keep up and get your grades up and all that sort of thing. I know I certainly worried about my marks, and I was really stressed about that in grade 7 and 8, and I'm sure some of you guys in this room were too. And I'm sure the adults around you told you, don't worry, you're not going to think about it in a few years, like it's going to be okay, and you thought, yeah, but I'm worried about it now, and I care about what my marks are now. But like, take it from me, I don't remember a single thing that I did. I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. Don't remember any marks from year 7 or 8. I barely remember my ATAR, which was only a couple years ago, and that's kind of an important one. But it's not like, take care of your marks, listen to your teachers, that's great. But I think the most important thing about being at school is that you're learning how to learn, and you're learning the importance of learning, because trust me, and I know every teacher and every adult in the room will agree with me, you never stop learning. I'm sure all the teachers are learning every single day from you guys and in their everyday lives, not just, your quadratic equations and your vocab and whatever your teachers have got you on these days. But it's about learning how to learn and the importance of learning. Like me, I finished with school, I'm in uni now, so I'm learning uni stuff, but also life stuff. I moved out to Brisbane, have to do my taxes now, pay my car, do all this boring stuff that your parents clean the house for you. I have to do that now, learning how to do the dishes and washing and all that. It's a bit of a, transition, but by being here, you guys are showing that you value learning, and you're knowing that, learning is important in your life, and you're always going to be doing that. So that's a really great thing, and a really, really positive step that you guys are making. So I want to congratulate you for that. But like I said, my best memories from high school weren't anything to do with classes or grades or marks. It was to do with the people around me and the people for you sitting around you right now, and the kindness that they showed me and that I showed them. So I have a story. I had one of my best friends now. I was in grade 8 and I was feeling a bit isolated, but I took a step and I went to the year 8 production, the play, and I was sitting on my own and I was feeling really lonely and just didn't have any friends. And then all of a sudden, a girl I kind of vaguely knew sat with me, and she shared her hot chips with me from across the road, the Spa. Do they still do those? The hot chips? That's like a classic bonding move. Like if you give someone a hot chip, you're like mates for life, you get me? Yeah. So from that moment, I was like, oh, thank goodness I have an ally, I have a friend. And that probably didn't really mean that much to her, it's just a chip, but to me it was so much more. And I think that really exemplifies the sort of small gestures that you guys have been making, obviously, because you're here, and in your everyday lives. You know that doing a small act for someone else not only creates, a positive memory for them, but it can create a positive memory for you as well. And, that friendship that I have her is still really strong, even though it's been 8 years now, or 6 years, I can't count. Many years, we're still doing different degrees, different unis, but we're still really good friends. And that may happen with the people sitting around you in this room today. The friends that you have now may not necessarily be your friends later. They may be, but either way, you're creating positive memories now, and you're setting yourself up for success with those, little kind things that you're doing for each other. And you're creating, those positive memories. So by being here today, you've proven to your teachers and to other people around you that you care about yourself and you care about others, and you're on the path for setting yourself up to a really strong future with those positive values, and that's something to be really proud of. And I'm so proud of you guys for getting to gold level, and just want to congratulate you again. And I heard, are you going on an excursion later? Maybe? Yes? I'm seeing some nods. Well, I really hope you guys have the best time with that. And that's all I've got to say. Enjoy the ceremony, and congratulations.
Now it is time to meet our Year 8 Gold Level students. To introduce these Gold Level students are the Year 8 Pastoral Care teachers. Please welcome to the stage the heads of Year 8 to award the certificates to the students. I would ask you to hold your applause until the end of the presentation for each pastoral care group. Please welcome Mr. Anthony Drake to present the 8A Gold Level recipients.
The gold level recipients for 8A are DV Abaraju, Emmanuel Cantalana, Matt Shalosky, Arabella Gore, Annika Hornsey, Georgia Horton, Janet Preet Kaur, Natalie Moston, Neeraj Pothula, and Katie Shine. Please join me in congratulating the 8A gold level recipients. This way? Oh, thanks. Thank you. I would like to call on Ms. Laura Coulthard to introduce the students of 8B. This one, this one. Thanks.
The gold level recipients for 8B are Toby Adansky, Sakina Ali, Xander Anstis, Miravan Hassan, Sophie Morby, Lucy Randall, and Maya Smith. Please join me in congratulating the 8B gold level recipients. I would like to call on Mr. Stephen Brandis to introduce the students of 8C.
The gold level recipients for 8C are Miller Harmon, Riley Hooper, Charlie King, Mathuli Morathotaj, and Ruby Palmero. Please join me in congratulating the 8C gold level recipients. I would like to call on Miss Tara Lester to introduce the students of 8D.
The gold level recipients for 8D are Ali Brisbane, Kaya Burstow, Gemma Gardner, Mason Keane, Aurora Mulligan, Mila Parfit, and Keen Pam. Please join me in congratulating the 8D gold level recipients. I would like to call on Miss Eliza O'Brien to introduce the students of 8E.
The gold level recipients for 8E are Violet Can, Sophie Cheshire, William Eddie Bean Scott, Chloe Greentree, Connor Locker, Saxon Richter, Jake Siebenhausen, Kate Skirman, Hugh Wolski, Tyler Wershing. Please join me in congratulating the 8E gold level recipients. I would like to call on Miss Nicola Peltz to introduce the students of 8F.
The gold level recipients for 8F are Abdul Shakro, Jack Smith, Mia Smith, and Ronna Zandanen. Please join me in congratulating the 8F gold level recipients. I would now like to call on the great Mrs. Tracy Noon to introduce the students of 8G.
Thank you, Ms. Peltz. The gold level recipients for 8G are Kayla Brown, Sam Giles, Brycel Lihau, Chloe Nicolay, Gabrielle Remes, Sananya Serenathna, Annalida Tazzi, and Amelia York. Please join me in congratulating the 8G gold level recipients. I would like to call on the lovely Miss Zada Wright to introduce 8H.
The gold level recipients for 8H are Rashan Chalapa, Elliot Coleman, Jada Dolly, Dalal Isdeen, and Ryan Stanley. Please join me in congratulating the 8H gold level recipients. I would now like to call on Mr. Ryan Otto to introduce the students of 8I.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. The gold level recipients for 8I are Olivia Barry, Annabelle Bate, Lawson Dean, Margaret Deng, Athok Gang, and Leo Uran. Please join me in congratulating the 8I gold level recipients. Now, I would like to call on Miss Renee Stanley to introduce the students of 8M.
The gold level recipients for 8M are Elliot Black, Lily Bothman, Maeve Coates, Sienna Dickfoss, Cleo Doherty, Harriet Johansson, Hannah Lawson, Xavier Rybelt, Sarah Rigby, Charlotte Seeds, Annika Sunilkuma, Bo van Zandbergen, Eloise Ward, tricked me, Audrey White, and Oliver Yang. Please join me in congratulating the 8M gold level recipients.
It is now time to meet our Year 7 Gold Year Level students. To introduce the students to us are the Year 7 pastoral care teachers, and awarding their certificates will be the heads of Year 7. Please welcome to the stage the heads of Year 7. Once again, I would ask you to hold your applause until the end of the presentation for each group. Please welcome Ms. Curly Rigby to the stage to present the 7A Gold Level recipients.
The gold level recipients of 7A are Stephanie Amaya, Lachlan Dart, Georgie Forbes, Jackson Harms, Lucinda Hoskin, Xavier Johnson, Evie Lugat, Alana Martin, Octavia McGlynn, Lexi Milliken, and Ashanvi Sharma. Please join me in congratulating the 7A Gold Level recipients. I would like to call upon Miss Jordan Weggett to introduce the students of 7B.
The gold level recipients for 7B are Isabel Erbacker, Brady Forsyth, Sophia Johnson, Jessica Murray, Dean McCurley, Max Mickleborough, Elena Morgan, Victor Isaac Oberu, Olivia Rigby, Harrison Solomon, Amber Vavra, and Shane Yo. Please join me in congratulating the 7B Gold Level recipients. I would like to call on Mr. Peter Sykes to introduce the students of 7C.
The gold level recipients for 7C are Archie Farmer, Matilda Haben, Ryan Hahn, and Alice Zhao. Could you please join me in congratulating the recipients for 7C? I'd now like to call on the wonderful Miss Mel Schmaker to introduce the students for 7D.
The gold level recipients for 7D are Suba Ali, Ethan Buckman, Nina Bailey, Sophia Croft, Princess Doyle, Tiana Flanagan, Tiani Holmes, Cooper McDougall, Sophia Nichelle, Cadet Nishimo, Pearson Smith, and Tanisha Walker. It's a promise. Please join me in congratulating the 7D gold level students. I'd like to call on Miss Savannah Renford to introduce the students of 7E.
The gold level recipients for 7E are Aria Aldridge, Benjamin Anderson, Zara Aquilini, Isabel Bargman, Archer Lorenz, Caitlin Mostyn, Toby Russell, Darcy Skews, Destiny Unwin, Jenna Vanderbrink, and Callan Zimmerly. Please join me in congratulating the 7E gold level recipients. I would like to call on Mr. Scott Coutser to introduce the students of 7F.
The gold level recipients of 7F are Mackenzie Atkinson, Ari Bailey, Emma Bicknell, Hannah Blinko, Charlie Brooks, Georgina Brown-Duthie, David Evangelista, Lucy Lee Dilly, Indy McKenda, Ashton O'Neill, and Corin Wagner. Please join me in congratulating the 7F gold level recipients. I would like to call upon Miss Erin Armstrong to introduce the students for 7G.
The gold level recipients for 7G are
Alice Brown. Alistair Collins. Henry Condon. Liam Mackenzie. And Leon Pinnathua. Please join me in congratulating the 7G Gold Level recipients. I would like to call on Mrs. Angela Garner to introduce the students of 7H.
Yazali Bulatsin Halagare. Mia Luca. Charlie Studley. Zali Tyler. And Fong Xiong. Please join me in congratulating the 7H Gold Level recipients. I would like to call on Mr. Dan McCulker to introduce the students of 7I.
The gold level recipients for 7I are Hadina Asdeen, Michaela Baker, Ruria Craig, Sarah Davis, Lucy Doyle, Razvan Isdeen, Abby Pennington, Elijah Ryan, Addie Sloan, Emily Thomas, and Samra Zandanan. Please join me in congratulating the gold level recipients for 7I. I'd like to call upon Mr. Chris Cuthill to introduce the students of 7J.
Good morning. I'd like to call on the gold level recipients for 7J, Jordan Duncombe. Mo Durack. Blake Jokowski. Ethan Gibbs. Shadia Murad. Daniela Nicholson. Sienna O'Loughlin. Aloysius Otmar. And Geraldine So. Please join me in congratulating the Year 7J Gold Level recipients. I would like to call on Miss Letitia Lynham to introduce the students of 7M.
The gold level recipients for 7M are Clint Allen, Lucas Anderson, Laura Cullen, Axel Downey, Lachlan Ellsworth, Lizzie Gardner, Darcy Johnston, Patrick Lobsey, Cameron McAuliffe, Evelyn McClatchy, Fletcher Milne, Rebecca Romaldo, Littley Sirimana, Ivy Sterling, Eiley Thompson, Max Walton, Josie Wilson, and Sylvie Yates. Please join me in congratulating the 7M Gold Level recipients.
Please congratulate all the Year 7 Gold Level recipients for 2023.
Most times when we celebrate, there is a special cake to share. I now have the pleasure of inviting to the front of the stage our 2023 Year 7 and 8 Student Council representatives, Bryce Lehau, Mackenzie Ackerston and Alistair Collins, to cut the cake. Please now cut the cake.
It was great to see so many students recognised here today, and it is hoped that students will continue on in their current path of exceptional performance for the remainder of the year and into the future. To reach gold level takes the support of the following: our heads of year for Year 7, Mrs Mel Rhodey Biggood and Mrs Casey Paticura; our heads of year for Year 8, Miss Catherine Gorton, Mrs Tori Barton and Mrs Heidi Law; our Assistant Head of Year for Year 7, Mrs Angela Garner, and our Assistant Head of Year for Year 8, Mrs Kelly Sloss. This day would not have been possible without the organisational skills of the following people. A very big thank you to Miss Juanita Brown-Duthie for preparing the invitations, the program, and the gold level certificates, as well as organising the cake. Mrs Angela Garner and Mrs Kelly Sloss for overseeing the organisation of this ceremony, Mrs Sue Hargreaves for photos. Thank you also to Mr. Cole French, our janitor, for his assistance with this ceremony, and also Mr. Paul Sykes, our IT technician. May we please have a round of applause for these people. We invite students outside to enjoy a piece of cake and pizza. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.